My name is James Williams Jr. Welcome to Kung Fu Havoc number 2. I want to do a video about racism again. Now, this is going to be something that's going to plague me until the day I die, so I want to get some more video about racist shit off my chest, so to speak. Not that I have much chest, no. I do push-ups, so I'm pretty strong in the chest. Anyway, so racism has been a part of American life. I just watched this thing on ID channel, Hate in America, about the white guy that killed the people in the church, and the family forgave him and everything, and that's awesome. That's totally freaking awesome. No. And the one thing I want to say, that forgiveness is very important, that we forgive people. Because in forgiving them, we forgive ourselves a little bit, and we allow ourselves to grieve over the things that we can't change. I think that I've said this before in one of my videos. I'm not going to swear to this, but I'm going to say it anyway. The key to stopping racism, to be honest, the key to stopping racism is to experience racism. Now, Eddie Murphy did this experiment once, and I would love for someone to back me and let me do this experiment. The problem is, I probably can't play a black person, because I'm already there, so it's not like that's really an option. But I would like to be able to play a white person and go stay in a ghetto for a week and have a makeup artist and stuff be there in seclusion and no one knows, and every day I come out, I'm a white guy. Just see how black people would treat me as a white person living in a high racist society. Now the thing about that is that, black people in themselves are just as racist as white people. They will probably deny this in court, because most people will deny. I'm going to tell you right now, when you deny that you have a little bit of racial, trying to find a decent word. I don't want to use the word hate, because it is hate, but depravity, I guess, or discontent. When you deny that you have racial discontent for people of different races, you are lying to yourself, because everyone on some level or another have had a bad experience from someone of another race. Now, granted, you can't judge other people by your experience because of that person's race. Alright? If that was the case, there would be a lot of bloodshed in Virginia alone. God knows we've all had some racial moments. As I was telling the girl or the preacher at work, most of my racial problems unfortunately have come from my own people because of me being multicultural and embracing all three of my heritages. Truth be told, I really only can embrace two of them, which is the Native American side and the black side. As far as my white side of the family, it's not that they don't accept it, it's just that we don't really have that much knowledge of them. So it's not like we don't accept them and they don't accept us, it's just that we have no knowledge. And back then, when my grandfather was created, it was kind of like, I guess, like the slavery thing. He's my son, but he's not my son. When people are around, he's just another houseboy. Slavery really created, changed, and fucked America over. That was me being nice, but it's the truth. It has really changed, created, and fucked America over. And every citizen in America is most likely a descendant of a slave, unless you're like a millionaire or something. Because indentured servants that were white were technically slaves, for those of you who don't know, who didn't pass history class because you were too busy sleeping or doing my favorite, looking up girls' skirts. But I still paid attention to history. Yes, that was a confession. I'll be the first to admit, if a girl wore a skirt to school and she didn't sit properly, that's not my fault. Of course, I didn't purposely drop pencils like this movie Mischief that I just watched a few hours back to keep peeking and look, had better ways. No mirrors on the shoes. That's your young cat thing. That's not for me. But, let's get serious now. As society grows, discontent has also grown. There are plenty of people who have discontent for people like me who are mixed because, um, funny story. My second father and I went to Florida once, and we were at the Hong Kong equivalent of Disneyland, Little China, I think it's called. I don't know, but it featured this little girl named Fawn. Hi, Fawn, wherever you are. You got to be about 20 years old now, because I was like 23 back then, and you were like 7. So I'm 40 something now, and you got to be in your 20s, late 20s, early 20s. You're in your 20s. Well, Fawn was an acrobat. She was like the featured attraction there. Okay, for anybody who's actually paying attention to like my 7 or 8 subscribers who actually find me interesting enough to listen to, and thank you very much for that. This white fella there, his son worked for Disney, and his son had told his dad that if he didn't go to work and smile every day, that he would be fired. Even when he was in a bad mood, he would be fired. I don't know how much truth that is because I don't work for Disney. Although if you're looking for someone and you want to work with me, I'm more than willing to work in the Marvel department because, I know my shit about comic books. Everything else, yeah, not so much. Moving on. He was talking to my second father, and he kept looking at me. He wanted to say things about Asian people. So he's talking to him. He's looking at me. He's like, I gotta make sure I say this stuff so that it doesn't offend this kid here. So he would look at me, and he'd be talking to Rick, and he's like, yeah, well, such and such, and working here with Asian people is so much more fascinating than working over at Disney and blah, blah, blah. So he got down to it where he just couldn't take it anymore. He said, I gotta ask you, son, what are you mixed with? I said, well, I'm not Chinese if that's what you're wondering. Because we were in like I said, the Chinese equivalent of Disney. No, I'm not insulting Chinese people. I love Chinese people. I love Asian people in general. I love all people until they do something stupid. All right? So he's looking at me, he's like, son, do you have any Chinese in you? Like, as far as I know, I don't. This was before I found out Native Americans were Asian. So I'm like, well, I'm Cherokee Indian, and I'm black and I'm white, but I don't know about Chinese. So he's like, okay. So he continued to start talking about Chinese people. Once he found out that I was part Native American, he said some good things, he said some bad things, and he had a little bit of discontent, but everybody has discontent. It doesn't make you a racist. It just means you have a different point of view, because we all have discontent. A lot of white people don't like it when black people play the race card. A lot of black people don't like it when black people play the race card either, because in case you're not aware, there is racism amongst black people towards black people. Now, for those who aren't black and don't know this, so for Asian people and white people, first off, this is my true skin color. I'm high yellow. Alright? I don't believe in long sleeve shirts unless it's wintertime. And in Virginia, we have funky weather anyway, so I usually just take my chance wearing t-shirts and wife beaters and stuff. So usually, what you see is what you get. So light-skinned brothers and dark-skinned brothers and medium-skinned brothers have a triumvirate clusterfuck of who's the better brother. And then there's like the dark-skinned brothers and the brown brothers don't really like the light-skinned brothers, which are my color. But the dark-skinned brothers also don't like the brown-skinned brothers who are darker than me but lighter than them. That makes sense? Probably not. So therefore, there's more discontent in side-stream racism within black people. Now, if you want to get technical, there's side-stream racism in the Asian community as well. North Korea doesn't like South Korea. North Vietnam doesn't like South Vietnam. Nobody really fucks with like Jakarta or Indonesia or Malaysia. And Chinese and Japanese don't get along. Japanese don't get along with basically anybody. But this is some shit that happened way back in the 30s and 40s. As time has gone on, everyone has grown up a bit. We still have problems with North and South Korea. Vietnam has been like under the radar. Same thing with like Laos and Thailand and stuff like that. But most of the time, the higher you are economically in a certain race, the lower you look at other people of the same race in discontent. And I'm not going to say it's prejudice because there was one time where there was like a difference between Chinese and red Chinese. I'm not going there. I'm not touching that. I don't think that was the thing that led to Tiananmen Square, but you get what I'm saying. So there's discontent in everyone. And there's discontent in everyone. It doesn't make you a racist. It just makes you have a little bit of nausea towards your own people. Sometimes you throw up in your mouth when you're talking about them, right? Now, my whole thing with the whole greater Asian region is that, that none of them really got over doing the same thing to each other, because the whole reason for building the wall was so the Mongolians can get in, yet the Mongolian that suggested they built the wall was the king of China, who was actually a Mongolian, and it happened in his era, and I'm like, okay, that's, like, fucked up, but, your Genghis Khan was not Chinese, he was Mongolian. Why build the wall to block your own people? Because he knew where his people came from. Simple as that. It's the same thing that Mongols did to China. Japanese did to China. And then China turned around and did the same thing to Nepal. I forgot the country, but Nepal is the leader of that country, the capital or whatever, where the damn Dalai Lama comes from. All right? All you Asians know what I'm talking about. All right? So if you go through our history, it was just like a big old clusterfuck going on. And that was before, like, the Europeans came into the world. And when the Europeans came into the world, everybody basically got screwed when Marco Polo decided that, hey, it's going to be a good idea to steal these things from China. I'm going to steal pasta and give that to Italy. I'm going to steal gunpowder and give that to everyone. And with that gunpowder came weapons. And with those weapons came the conqueration of humanity. And I'm not just saying that they conquered China and Japan. They conquered America for damn sure. So, everybody has their discontent towards each other. So in your movements of discontent, in your moments to have discontent from each other, you must realize that we all bleed red. So there shouldn't be a reason for everyone to hate each other. Not really. We all have to breathe air to live. We have to drink water to live. And we all bleed red. You show me a human that bleeds green and I'm moving off the planet because that's no longer a human. That's a super Skrull. And for those who don't know what a Skrull is, Google it. Marvel Comics. Anyway, or a Kree. Because I believe they bleed green. But anyway, the whole funny thing is that, you have to find your niche and where you fit and everything. And a lot of people don't do that. They just assume shit. So here's how you find out if someone is got straight discontent for you or if their ass is straight up racist. 1. Having discontent and being a racist is not the same thing. If you have discontent from people, you're straight up honest about it. I don't hate black people, but I really don't want to deal with them. That's not really being racist. That's just being straight up truthful. Or let me put it my way from my point of view. I love my black heritage. I love my Native American heritage. I love my white heritage. But I know that in my heart of hearts, I will never, ever, 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 as long as I'm breathing, be a white man. I accept that. I will always be a black man, and I will always be a Native American. But as for being a white man, I have the blood in me, but I will never be one. Not light enough. Enough said. Does not mean I hate white people. No, it means I just will never be one of them. Now, as far as black people go, I do have a little bit of discontent for them, but that was because when I was a kid, no one ever really thought I was black, and I've had to prove my blackness to black people over and over and over and over and over again. All right, I'm almost at the 15-minute mark, so I'm going to have to make this really, really short. The only time I am having discontent with my black people is when we decide to jump up and do stupid shit, like join terrorist fractions and cells and crap, especially after we joined the army and then we betray our country and go to New York and do dumb shit. Whenever black people do dumb shit, then I'm very proud to be Cherokee. You don't really hear too much about Native Americans because there's no news crew that travels to the reservation unless something really big happens, or like what's going on now with the pipeline in certain places and how it's affecting people, that kind of thing. But other than that, I don't have a whole lot of discontent. Now, I had an incident with a Native American clan a long time back when they came to play wheelchair basketball here. Other than that, I've never had a problem with Native Americans. So, discontent. Now, there's a difference between discontent and straight up racism. I'm James Williams Jr. This has been 15 minutes and 5 seconds of Kung Fu Habit number 2. I'm out of here.